explain how to sandwich your quilt. I have hardwood floors. So, first of all, I put down a couple blankets, partly to help the backing fabric not shift. It's stickier on top of a blanket. And then also just to protect the hardwood floors and just make cleaning up a little bit easier. I honestly don't know if the spray-based will damage hardwoods. I've never had a problem, but just to be safe, I do that. I also cover the back of the couch for the same reason. Then I lay down my backing fabric with the wrong side up, almost as if the quilt was laying on the floor. And then I put the batting down. For the batting, there's the kind I use is Warm and Natural, and it has what I refer to as pimples on one side, these little dips. And I always remember pimples, I associate that with negative things. And so I put them down, like pimples down towards the backing fabric. Um, I don't think it makes a huge difference, but it will make the quilting process go a little bit more smoothly. And so backing and then batting on top of that with the pimple side down. Again, I use Warm and Natural, and this is just the method I use. I don't know for sure if it's what all batting should use. And then I put the quilt top on the top with the pretty side up. So once I put the backing and the batting down and the quilt top on, then I tend to trim the backing and the batting. I don't give myself a lot of space because I've gotten more confident with the process. So I have about an inch, maybe an inch and a half um, around all four sides. But if you're nervous, you can give yourself more space because you can always, once you've trimmed it off, you can turn it into the binding. For example, like if you do a 3 or 4 inch border and you cut your binding to 2 1/4 or 2 1/2 inches, then you can easily use the extra fabric for that purpose. Yeah, so now that it's all laid out flat, I pull it back all the way towards the center, like basically fold the top in half, and I start from the center, spraying from the center out. Um, and if it's spraying really easily, then I just go ahead and keep going. If it kind of gloops out, like if it's a little too thick, sometimes I'll use my hand to spread it out a little bit, just to make sure that it's all layered evenly. Here you can see it's spraying really thinly and nicely. And then here I have it's a little bit thicker consistency, so I kind of spread it out a little bit. If the thickness is making spraying hard or you're annoyed with having to spray it out, just, you can water it down with a little bit of vodka and then usually it sprays easily. Don't add too much because you do want it to maintain its sticking ability. And usually I get the fabric pretty wet and then just add a little bit onto the batting and it helps it stick together. And then I fold back that row that I just sprayed, and I start in the center and kind of ease it to the sides. Because the fabric is wet, I try to be really careful not to stretch it or misshape it as I'm laying it out. I want it to maintain its size and proportions, but I do want to start from the center and smooth it out so that there's no wrinkles. Um, so I want the quilt top to remain the same without any stretching, but I also want it smooth and flat. So I kind of start in the center and move outwards. You'll see from this corner, yeah, just from the center and moving out to the side and just kind of patting it down. And then for the next row that I'm going to adhere, I fold it back until I can see just a damp stripe from the previous spray, and then just continue the process. Again, spraying it down and then patting it down from the center out. So here you can see I folded it back so I see just the edge of the part I previously sprayed. I try to focus on the edges especially because you want the edges to really stick so it doesn't start peeling back. So if I have like a dry spot, I'll go back and just get it a little bit wetter. That dry spot in the middle there doesn't really matter because it's surrounded by um, the sprayed portion that will keep it in place. And then once I've done from the center to the bottom, then I go and do the center to the top from the same process, spraying and then smoothing it out. And then I kind of take a step back, make sure all the edges are adhered and everything looks smooth. And once it looks good, I just walk away. Um, how long it takes really depends a lot on the weather and how warm your house is. I tend to kind of assume it'll take 24 hours for each side. So I spray it during the day, and then usually by the time it's overnight the next morning, I can spray it again. But sometimes, if it's warm, I can spray in the morning and then flip it and spray at night, and then it's ready the next day. But I kind of give myself 2 days before I expect to start quilting it, just to get the top and the batting done. So once it's sandwiched, I've done the front, flipped it, and done the back. Then I sometimes iron, sometimes honestly I don't iron. Either way, it usually turns out fine. You can see it kind of has ripples, but at the same time, if I smooth it, it is smooth and connected. Um, and now I'm just going to iron it and see if it makes a big difference. It's really easy for me to become obsessed at this point with ironing every tiny little thing down. Um, but I am happy with how it's turning out. And I also do tend to pin just the edges, just kind of spread out. And again, that's the first place that's likely to start coming undone. And if it's pinned, it won't, and it kind of maintains the rest of the quilt a little bit better. So it's about maybe I would say 6 or 6.5, 7 inches apart. I am an overpinner. I like to avoid problems. So you can do as you like. I just don't want it to start peeling off. I just want the edges reinforced so that they'll stay until I have a chance to um, quilt it. Just a couple additional notes. If you know you're not going to quilt it right away, I would pin the edges, fold it up, and just honestly, the quilt that's behind me probably was stored 2 or 3 months, already spray basted, and it didn't have any problems. I've heard other people as well say they don't have any problems. I live in a very dry environment, and we don't have a huge bug problem. So I don't know if humidity or the weather conditions or nuances of particular areas might affect that. But for me, once it's dry, I haven't had any problems with mold or it coming apart or anything like that. It just really stays nicely adhered. And then once it's been quilted, I just wash it. And in the washing process, all the flour and paste and all of that just wash right out. So I hope you enjoyed this and I hope you give it a try. My first few times it was a little awkward and hard, and now it's just so easy. So, give yourself 2 or 3 times to try to work out the issues and see if it works for you. It gets a lot easier as it goes and you save a lot of money.